Mirë, përshëndetje të nderuar televizionistë, jemi në këtë intervistë vetëm pak orë përpara zhvillimit të zgjedhjeve të 25 prillit. Sot kam kënaqësinë të kem këtu ose më saktë bashkë me ne në Tiranë sekretari i përgjithshëm i Asamblesë Parlamentare të Këshillit të Evropës, zoti Roberto Montella. Mr. Montella, thank you for being with us.
Thank you very much. Nice to be on the show.
Let's start from the beginning. What is the OCCA still active, engaged in South East Europe? Is this a positive or negative sign?
Oh, I would definitely see it as a positive sign that the OSCE is here at the request of the governments of Southeast Europe. It's not an imposition, but it's actually a request of the government of Southeast Europe. It's an exercise of support to developing democracies in Southeast Europe. It's an exercise that is done in partnership with the governments. So it's a set of missions that do not tell or do not point the fingers at governments, but actually work hand in hand with governments and try to help them develop their institution building, all the acquis they need to further progress towards a full-fledged democracy.
Yes, but is there any relation between the OCCA and the region's foreign policy priority of integration in the EU?
Of course, the OSCE is an organization of 57 countries going from Vancouver to Vladivostok, so we do not speak exactly on what are the EU aspirations of Southeast Europe. But of course, the issues and the dossiers that the OSCE is involved in, rule of law, development of law enforcement, development of media, and institution building, democratization, are all parts of the acquis communautaire and the different dossiers that the countries of Southeast Europe need to fulfill in order to access to the EU. So in that sense, there is a coincidence, though it's we're not working towards that goal because it's the decision of the governments and the citizens of Southeast Europe to decide which are the foreign policy objectives that they have. We just assist them in developing their democracies.
I see. What is exactly the OCCA role in Albania? People often ask that what tangible benefits the OCCA brings to them. Can you please help elaborate so people can clearly understand the OCCA?
Thank you. Well, for that question, we are in the building where the OSCE presence in Albania is set, so the best person to answer that question would be Ambassador Vincenzo Del Monaco, who represents the OSCE here. But of course, the OSCE here in Albania, like in other countries in Southeast Europe, is involved into working on the development of rule of law, law enforcement, media, human trafficking, environmental projects, electoral reforms, working with the parliament, parliamentary reform. So it's a lot of work, day-to-day work carried out by many women and men of the OSCE presence in Albania here. I'm sure people in Albania are very well aware of this work. It's been done for many years. And indeed, it does benefit the day-to-day life of citizens. I myself have been involved in working for OSCE field operations in Southeast Europe. And I must say this is one of the best unknown secrets of the OSCE is that the day-to-day work of the women and men in the OSCE does benefit directly the people and the citizens of the country where we operate. So I'm sure that the viewers will understand what I'm talking about. But I definitely invite you also to ask the same questions to Ambassador Del Monaco, who will be happy to also publicize the work of the mission here.
Absolutely, we will. Mr. Secretary Montella, what is the position of Albania in OCCA? We recall that last year we used to deliver the presidency of OCCA.
Yes. Well, Albania plays a very important role in the OSCE and in the OSCE Parliamentary Assembly as such. But in the OSCE last year was a big year for Albania. They held the chairmanship of the organization, which is the role of the foreign minister normally of the country that hosts the chairmanship. Albania led this organization in a very challenging time, I must say. You just came out of a terrible and tragic earthquake, and of course here also my solidarity to all the victims and all those affected by that tragic event. But there was a year when there was, besides the earthquake, the pandemic, and so it's not easy to run an organization which is by definition an organization where we talk, where we have dialogue, where we interact with each other, and to do this online or to do this with new technological means. So I must say that Albania did very well in managing the challenges that came, the post-earthquake and the pandemic phase in running the organization. But also the organization was faced with other challenges. We had a situation in Belarus. The post-elections, post-August elections in Belarus provoked also streets demonstrations, and so this is something that the Albanian chairmanship had to manage. There's been, I must say, one of the most challenging U.S. elections in the past years. It was world news, but Albania was chairing the organization. Albania had the responsibility to find a leadership for the election observation mission of these elections in the U.S. During this period within the OSCE, we've had also the conflict in Nagorno-Karabakh and between Azerbaijan and Armenia, so another challenge for the Albanian chairmanship.
A lot of hotspots during.
A lot of hotspots indeed. Situation, of course, in Russia. So I must say that the chairmanship, and here I know that every word I will say can be used in one way or another, but I'm just talking about the responsibility that the Albanian country had in leading the organization was something that Albania did very well. And as somebody who's been working with Albanian and Albanians in Southeast Europe for many years, I was very happy to see that Albania did well in that.
I see. Mr. General Secretary, a few hours from now, Albania is going to vote. Why is OCCA interested on monitoring this process, and how is going to do that? And in what measures, if you can say that?
Yes. Well, being part of the club of the OSCE is actually also a responsibility for each country to accept that there are international observers. So, of course, we are here at the invitation of the authorities, but also it's a kind of an obligation for the authorities to invite other members of the club, let's say, of the OSCE to participate in the observation of the elections. It provides more credibility to the electoral process, it provides transparency, it provides the possibility to have greater scrutiny from international observers. The mission we have here is a very vast mission composed of experts from the Office of Democratic Institutions and Human Rights in Warsaw. They are here for 2 months. They thoroughly assess the entire electoral spectrum from the administrative part, the media, the campaign, the interaction with the international community here. So they look at all the aspects, and then there is a component also of members of parliament. We have a big delegation of members of parliament from the OSCE Parliamentary Assembly, but also from the Council of Europe. And these two components get together in these last days of the elections to make a thorough assessment of the election process. And we, of course, are not here to judge the result of the elections. We're not interested in the results. We're interested in the process to see how the entire process is conducted. And I must say, we've been doing this for many years now in Albania. For me, it's my 4th time observing elections since 2009. And it's a very good exercise. It helps the country also improve its electoral systems, its electoral procedures, and so it's a contribution, let's say, to the country where we observe.
Look, Mr. Secretary, we do have some really problems here with the claims of the political party, naturally, that that they claim that there's been this buying vote phenomena. What is the statement of the OCCA on this regrets, let's say?
I will refrain from making any assessment at this moment in time, because this will be exactly in the statement that we will make on Monday. There will be leaders of the election observation delegations led by Mr. Azai Guliev, a special coordinator, who will make the assessment on Monday afternoon. So I will not enter into the assessment right now, but we hear these allegations, of course, in many countries where we observe elections, and let's say the experts who are in place to assess are experts who will know how to make a correct assessment. But I don't want to enter into the...
Absolutely, I fully understand. But a last question is that do you have a message for the Albanian voters?
Absolutely, yes, of course. Election is a great gift, let's say, and it's a great opportunity for citizens to raise their voice, to say where they stand on the political governance of their country. So I would say definitely always go out to vote and exercise your vote freely, independently, without fearing any intimidation, and do vote and participate, because this is the moment when you speak up on the future of your country. So it's a very important moment.
Mr. Montella, it was a very great pleasure having you.
My pleasure. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All the best.